Good night. Hello, everyone. I hope you all can hear me. Let me know if you can hear me well. Let me know if you can hear me. Listen, I'm here to deliver a message. You see the title. And I'm also here to share some things with you. I'm excited. I am excited. You hear me? I am too excited. I just want to show you all. And this message here is not for everyone. Although you may receive momentum to increase your faith, this message is not for everyone. I had to turn down my heater as I hear it shadowing my voice here. Come on in, say good evening to me. How is everyone doing? I hope your evening is going well. Guess what? It's my birthday tomorrow. My birthday is tomorrow. And I'm so excited. I pray that I see that day. I pray that I'm protected, and I'm just so excited. Hi, Keisha McNeil, dear. How are you? Listen, you may want to tune in and stay in for this one, Keisha. Somebody's faith is going to be increased tonight. I know this message is not for everyone, but everyone, right? Listen, I don't want to sound like it's crazy. This message is for specific people, but everyone will receive something from this message. Your faith will be increased. You will start writing down, you will start journaling, you will start writing down your ideas, right? You will start something new tonight after this message here. After this message, I'm fired up about this message because it is so, it's just powerful. Let's just say that. Okay. Let's just say that. So what I want to talk to you all about, and this message is for the people who journal. The people who journal. Anybody who writes in journals, who write down their ideas, who write down their dreams, who writes down things, who just write. This message is for the writers, the scribes, as someone prophesied to me and told me I was. I didn't realize that, but that is a true prophecy. I received it. But this is for the writers. Yes, for my writers. Come on in. If you're a writer, come on in. If you journal, come on in. If you write, if you scribble, come in. This is your message. And if you don't write or scribble, you stay here so you can see why writing is important, why journaling is important. And a few months back, I was listening to her name is Quan Lene Green. She has Kingdom Wealth Ministries, and I tagged her in this too because I was listening to one of her videos. It was like 2 months back. But at that time, I did not go back into the archives. Her she was brought to my attention right before I got ready to do this video, because she did a video back 2 months ago. She did a video 2 months ago that's called what was her title? Go back into the archives. Right? This is go back into the archives. And I have this message titled Go Back to Your Archives, right? And this was just brought up before I started this message. I remember her bringing forth that message, and I never did go back at that time. But I went back last night. Let me tell y'all something. I went back last night, and I brought my receipts. Okay. I brought receipts tonight. And I felt in my spirit to do a live. I felt in my spirit I had to do a live today. right? And for you all who journal, who write down your dreams, your ideas, your goals, what you want to do, the type of life you want to live, you just like to write down everything. This is your message to go back. This is your message to go back into your archives and read what you have written. Yes, it is. This your season. And that's what I did here. This journal here, this is my journal when I was in graduate school. This is called My Journal Through Graduate School Life and Work. And I was documenting so many things. This was back in 2000 and I started this journal back in 2012. And you're going to receive some you 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 all are going to receive so much faith and momentum because I was instructed to come share my journal with you. I usually don't do that. This is my personal journal. But for this message, I had to come share because things I wrote down 10 years ago is happening right now. I'm living things out right now. And I didn't realize that I wrote this stuff down. And I went back to it. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this is kind of scary. Right? So when I was starting graduate school, and I didn't understand. God, let's see. Let me slow down because I'm too excited. Let me breathe. Let me breathe. So when I started graduate school back in 2012, it was a goal that I always wanted to accomplish, right? I wanted to go get my MBA because I always knew I was going to be a business owner. So I was trying to go to school to educate myself to increase my knowledge so I can start my business, have the tools and the knowledge to start my business. But unfortunately, I did not go into the MBA program. I went into this program that was just called the leadership program. And I didn't understand at the time why I was redirected to start that program. And sometimes, what I was going to say, sometimes God take us through things not because of the degree wasn't the thing that God wanted to do with me. It was the process of getting the degree. The process of getting the degree helped me. The degree is just a piece of paper, but it was the process that I went through getting that degree. I mean, I had to overcome so many things, and I'm so glad that I documented what I was going through. I documented what I was going through. I captured some of the moments, and I'm here to share those moments with you. But the main thing I want to share with you, I will let you all, I will read that to you all tonight, right? So I've always been a writer. I've always been a journaler, rather. I like to journal. Ever since I was younger, I remember I used to have a diary that I used to write in. I don't know what happened to some of my books, but when I used to live with my dad, I used to journal. I used to write, and in between moving here to there, going back and forth to my grandmother's house, cleaning up, you know, some of my writings may have gotten thrown away. But I started back journaling. I picked up my journal in graduate school. One of the professors um, challenged us to start journaling. I've always journaled, but I didn't do it in a long time, prior to me going to graduate school. So she challenged us to start doing it. So I did it. And you all won't believe what I wrote down in here. You all won't believe the things that I wrote down. Right? So that's what I want to come share with you. I want to come share some of my intimate moments that some of the things that I've written down. But the main thing I want to share with you all is my self-fulfilling prophecy, what I wrote down back in September of 2013. I want to share that with you first. So if that's all you need as confirmation, or that's all you need to get, and you can go on, with your day, this is going to be for someone. But this is mostly for the ones who journal, who write, but others can listen in, and you will be able to see why it's important to journal, why it's important to, write down and just, document where you are. Even if it's not something you like to do, it's good to document your emotions and where you were and what you were thinking, because we don't remember everything. We go on about our lives, and some of us just trying to, take one day at a time, or we're just trying to survive, right? We're out here trying to survive. So you're not going to be able to capture, not capture, remember everything. So it's good to capture, the moment in books, just like back in the days, especially with the Bible and the Word of God, and, different documents and things where people wrote down what was going on at the time. But let me tell y'all something. I wrote this down. I had to share this with you all, because when I read this, I was like, oh my goodness. I wrote this down September 17th, 2023. And this is my journal, right? This is my journal. And these sticky notes is things that stood out to me, things that I wanted to read to you all during this live, right? But the main thing I wanted to read to you all was my self-fulfilling prophecy. This is why I think, and I know God told me I have to watch what I say. He's been telling me that because I've been living out things that I've said. And sometimes we forget. I forget. We have to be reminded to not be saying things that we don't have in the business, right? And I know it's hard because it's almost like it's normal just to be saying things. But for the ones who are chosen and prophetic, and you got power coming out of your mouth, you can't say everything everyone else say. You cannot say it. You cannot come into agreement with what everybody else is coming into agreement with. You can't do it. You got to let other people do it, but you can't do it. But let me tell you all what I wrote. It says today at work, I told a coworker to mark this day. I was talking about the day that I mentioned. Mark this day, September 17th, 2013, because God is going to use my mouth to be a blessing. Although I know in my spirit that He has already, I just need to walk into my divine purpose. Isn't it something? And look, I'm on here today on the Responsibility YouTube channel, blessing people, come, sharing my wisdom, sharing my knowledge. Could you all believe that? Did you all hear what I just said? Were you able to hear? September 17th, 2013. No, no, no. I said this in 2013, Cheryl. That's what I'm telling you. I said this back in 2013. That was 10 years ago. That's what I'm coming to tell. That's what I'm telling you. I'm telling you that the prophecy is being fulfilled. This is a, come open the door for Skittles. This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. I told my coworker that September 17th, 2013, that God was going to use my mouth. Isn't that powerful? This is powerful. And the reason I felt, yes, he is, Morgan. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I went back. That's what I'm telling you all. Go back. If you are a writer, go back to your archives. Go back to, you know, the things that you have written down, the things that you have put away. Go back to old notes, old composition books. I mean, just go back. I opened this last night. I know Quan Lene Green, she did a video And I listened to her video, 2 months ago. And as I've stated, I didn't go back at the time, but I felt like, right, she was talking to me because I have so many journals, so many ideas. And I just started going through my journals and reading. I read this entire journal last night in one sitting. I read everything in here. And there's so many things in here. I captured moments of, how I was feeling, in my relationship at the time. I captured moments, of dealing, having family issues. I mean, like, I captured those moments. I captured my fear. This is what I wanted to share with you all too. But I had to come out straight out the gate with the prophecy. I had to come straight out the gate with that prophecy. But what I want to share with you all right here too is when I first started graduate school. When I first started graduate school, I had so much fear, and I knew I was breaking a generational curse, but I didn't understand it at that time. I knew something was happening, but I didn't understand it at that time. That's why I said in the beginning, it wasn't about me obtaining the degree. It was about the process. It was about the process that took place in me obtaining the degree. I think God sent me through that route to do a work in me. And it's something else I wanted to read to you all. I just talked about all my fear and how fearful I was. Oh, this is it right here. And I want to read this to you all. And this was dated. I started graduate school back in October of 2012. Or actually August 2012. And I documented that too. But this is what I want to read to y'all. This is my process in graduate school. Now bear with me now. It says, I started the graduate program in August of 2012. My original plans were to apply for the MBA program, but for some odd reason, my heart led me to the leadership program. Obtaining my master's degree has always been a goal I wanted to accomplish. I've always wanted my MBA because I wanted to have the knowledge to run a successful business. These were my plans. On the other hand, God has called me to do something else. He has called me to work on his terms, not my own. I know he wants me to help young women, but for some reason, it seems like I am not capable of the calling. I feel like I have to be perfect in my endeavors. It is a constant fight trying to fight off the negativity that has been bombarding my thought life. Speaking of negative thoughts, my first night of grad school, I experienced an emotional war. I never felt so afraid in my life. I felt like I didn't deserve to be in the class. I wanted to quit. I had 100 reasons why I should quit and why I didn't deserve to be at the graduate level. I felt like I was numb, or no, I felt like I was dumb. Let me just say that. This is sad, but it is true. I felt like my English wasn't where it should be, right? I'm telling y'all. So, why am I here? I thought of so many reasons to quit, but something deep down inside of me was screaming no. My first night of class felt like torture. I am not sure if it was just me, but it seemed as if I was all alone. I remember when I came home that night, I cried myself to sleep, still feeling the nervousness in my stomach jumping like jumping jacks. I was feeling so scared. I am still not sure why I was feeling so scared, why I felt like I didn't belong. Maybe it was stemmed from my past. I will investigate further in the future. As for now, I must stay focused. This is what I was writing down, and to capture this moment and to be able to share it with you and to go back and elaborate and have a conversation about that time years ago, almost a decade ago. It is important to go back so you can see how far God has brought you. Because as long as I can remember, I've always included God. I've always been asking him. He has always been with me. He never left me, even if in my trying times. Just like some of you all, he never left you. But he still wants to take you all through a process. He wants to take you through a process. People think they look at you and think you just got where you got overnight. I had to fight. I was in war here. I was in war in this journal. I was going through warfare. I was fighting. I was praying, fasting. I was doing all that. Trying to understand, trying to be obedient, prophesying over myself, trying to understand what I'm dealing with. Listen, I was going through it. But I didn't stay there. I didn't let it defeat me. Right? And I continue, right? Let me continue. It said and then it said I survived my first class of graduate school. I have to admit, it wasn't as bad as I thought it would be. I made it through. Fear really tried to fight me and stop me from moving forward. However, I dug my heels in and I looked fear right in the face and pushed past it. I had to pray and ask God to give me the strength to make it through. I have to believe that God is in my corner. As long as I do my part, I know he will do his. Right? That was when I first started my journal back in October of 2012. Yes, I mean, very deep. When I looked at it, Keisha, girl, I was going, that's not the end. It's some more stuff I have to read. You all have to be obedient. But it's just a testament, the war I was going through back then. I had to fight. And I'm still fighting. I'm still fighting. This is October the 16th, 2012. It says, I am so excited that October 18th, 2012 is my last day of my first class, Foundations of Leadership Development. I thank God for giving me the grace to press through my first class. I recall how afraid I was my first day of school. Now I am at the end of class. To God be the glory. And then I said, I pray that God keeps me humble and focused on his purpose for my life. I thank God for giving me the confidence I need to make it through my first class. Yes, this was powerful. I know. Listen, and that's what. Look, and when the prophet prophesied to me a few months ago, she told me I was a scribe. I'm like, I don't know what no scribe is. I know scribble. That means you're right. But I didn't understand. It was all tied to me journaling. It was all tied to me being like this since since my youth, right? Yes, Morgan, that's what I'm saying. I'm being obedient. I'm being obedient. This ain't for me. This is not for me. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, these pages that I got highlighted, this is not for me. This is to come share and inspire the chosen ones. So my graduate journey was from 2012 to 2014. So I didn't write it in my journal every day, but I wrote and tried to keep up with, my progress, right? So I'm skipping to this page, to one of my pages, further along. And I wrote this on January the 12th, 2014. I don't think there was nothing else after, no, nothing else I needed to share after my prophecy. Um, it's so much in this book. Maybe I share when I do my first Zoom, to be more personal. But I'm trying to see if there was anything else. But I think I put the tabs where I felt like God wanted me to share and read from, just to let you all know when you document. And for the ones who are writers who write and document in their journals, this is just to give you all more clarity to keep writing and documenting and dating and timing. When I started this, I didn't time. I didn't write the times when I journaled. But now in my new journals, I write the dates and time. But before I didn't do it. I just wrote the date. So this one was on January the 12th, 2014. It says, today I was viewing the website Black and Married with Kids. I realized that I really desire to have my own business. I've always wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was in high school. Later on in life, I learned that it's smart to have a business that I have a passion for. I am not sure exactly what it is I want to do, but I know it's going to be something where I am talking and speaking to others. I know that God is going to use my mouth for his kingdom and give me the desires of my heart. I do desire to have my own business and soon. This was in January 12th, 2024. 2014. Isn't that something? Isn't this something? I mean, when I was reading this, I got a new wind. I got a fresh wind. You know that song, Give Me a Fresh Wind. I don't know all the lyrics, and I think it says to fall down from heaven. That song is, I know it's Fresh Wind. That's what I got last night. Reading this journal, going through here, going back. I got a fresh wind. And I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, I almost rolled out of the bed. I almost rolled out of the bed. This thing was so good. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to see. This is I wrote this February 17th, 2014. And I wrote, I'm trying to see, do I need to read all of it? Um, I don't know if that one. I'm trying to see. Great insight. Let me see. Oh, I wrote this here, July 29th, and this was written in, I want to say 2014. Yes, 2014. Let me uh oh yeah. This is the whole thing. It says today, let me read it. It says today I'm up early because I promised to spend more time with God and his word. Yesterday I started my journey with God and it was rocky because as soon as I opened my Bible, I thought about everything and everybody. I mean, foolishness was bombarding my mind, trying to get me off focus. But I took control of my mind by regaining control over my wandering mind. I'm not making spending time with God a duty. I want it to become a lifestyle because I know I need God in my life to live, grow, and to be blessed. And then paragraph down, it says, last night, God gave me a vision not to write only one book, but two books. The first title is Embracing Young Sisters, and the second is Embracing My Sisters. The first book will be based on my experience as a teen without parental guidance, and my second book will be about my struggle as a young adult trying to salvage a marriage while finding myself in the midst. I'm like, Lord Jesus. Yes, this is it. And it also, I went on to the next page. It says, wow, it's amazing how God will show you visions when you are focused on Him. Instead of trying to work our petty magic by connecting with the right people, networking, meeting this person and that person, we need to lean on God first, and He will give us great discernment to whether or not we should move forward in a relationship, a business venture, a friendship, etc. I'm like, listen, I went back, I'm like, wow, wow. And I'm sitting here like, this was too much for me. When I was reading my journal, it really was too much. I had to stop for a minute. Yep, I had to stop for a minute and take a breath because it was really too much. But I had to come share that. Um, I had to come share that with you all. And when I I just feel like I need to share this right now with someone back in July of 2020, July 29. I think that was 2014. And I wrote this down. And when I wrote this down and I read this to you all just now, I'm led to share my and I'm not here to put anybody down. I'm not here to bash anyone or make condemn anyone. I'm just sharing my story. This is my story, and I got to when I'm led, I got to lead and say it. So when I thought about when I read this sentence, instead of trying to work our petty magic by connecting with the right people, networking, meeting this person and that person, we need to lean on God first, and He will give us great discernment to whether or not we should have, to whether or not we should move forward in a relationship, a business ventureship, or a friendship. So, what He led me to talk about for this brief moment is when I was seeking so bad, and I'm not going to call the name of the sororities, and I'm not going to mention, any names, but when I was seeking because I didn't know who I was to join a sorority. And I had this mindset, and someone was, I had two people that I knew, two of my former teachers from elementary school and middle school, mentioning to me about joining a sorority. But I needed to drop this nugget in here. And during this time, um, I was looking because people were saying that if you get connected to a sorority, the sorority will open doors for you. And God stopped me in my tracks. God stopped me in my tracks to have had me to go. First, He told me that I don't need a sorority. I don't need anyone else but to lean on Him. Right? That's what He told me in the beginning. Right? Once he revealed to me what I was doing, and I had to stop. So He told me I needed to be leaning on Him, and He is the only one that can open the doors for me. He is more powerful than a sorority. But He also had me to go and educate myself. on the origin of these sororities. And he told me that you tie yourself, you wanting and desiring to tie yourself to these organizations, you will be worshiping another God. He said, I don't care how they try to make it seem. I don't care what they attach to it. He said they are full of pride. That's what he told me. This is my story. They're full of pride and arrogance, and they can't do what I could do for you. That's what he told me. That's what the Spirit told me. The Spirit told me that I'm trying to put someone else above the one and only to get something. If he don't open the door, ain't nothing the sorority could do for me. Ain't nothing no one else could do for me. So this when I started increasing my, focusing and really pressing in to God. Because I was still trying to, discover and find myself. And don't you know, let me tell you something about the God I serve. Don't you know, God opened the door for me shortly after I said, you know what, you're right, God. I don't need no sorority. I don't need nobody. I don't need to be connected to nobody. Only person I need to be connected to is you. You are going to open the doors. If you can't open the door, it won't be open. Don't you know? Don't you know? Let me tell y'all. Let me tell you how good God is. I sent my resume to this particular person. Sent my resume. I was hired before I did an application. And this is with a well-known company. I filled out the application after I was hired. Like they had me to do. They told me they wanted me to have the job, and I filled out the application. Right? That day. That's not normal. That is not normal. That was God's doing. Nobody can't tell me that wasn't him. And that's what he was showing me. You don't need nobody else but to depend on me. I didn't have to go get sucked up in the black hole, the application hole. You know how they say they got the little black hole when you're filling out applications on these websites. You know how they say you fill out these applications on these websites, and if you don't have the right keywords, they don't pick up your application. I didn't go through all that. I was obedient to what God told me to do. I put in the work. Faith without works is dead. I sent people resumes. I did work. Let me tell you what I did. I did the work, and God blew on the work that I was doing. Yes, he did. I got hired before I filled out the application. Not only did I get hired, they paid me exactly what I was asking for. So that made me think I should have asked for more. But nope, that was what I felt I was worth. I was happy with that. But God opened that door. That was God. He was showing me, you don't need nobody else. You don't need no sorority. I am your sorority. I am your Alpha and Omega. The beginning and the end. You got to learn to put your trust in me. You have to seek me. And that's what I was doing. I don't know. I still don't know everything. But I knew at that time, I was like, Lord, help me. I was seeking, trying to find myself, trying to figure things out. I was going through warfare, and I was fighting and trying to, just press in with God. One hand I was warring, the other hand I'm like, Lord, I know you with me. I know this is going to work out. Journaling my process, going through grad school, trying to take care of kids. And it's something else in here that I wanted to, I don't know if it was, I think that was all the Lord put in my heart to share, but it was something else I realized that I was going through, and I didn't realize I was going through that then, dealing with family issues. That's what it was, dealing with family issues. And I wrote it down in my book 10 years ago. I was still going through the same foolishness with some of the family. Yes, I'm like, I was going through that. I'm looking like, I'm like, I was going through that then. Y'all was acting the fool then. And look and blaming me. Uh, and I was writing down like all the books that I've read. Jim Rohn. I was reading Jim Rohn and Les Brown and who else? John DeLemme and Joyce Myers, Bishop T.D. Jakes. I was reading a lot of their books, inspirational books. I think this is around the time that I read them 20 to 30 books in 1 year. I think it was during this process. I didn't document all the books that I read, but it was during this process. Yeah, I was going through certain things then. I also documented when I was in grad school, one of my classmates, one of my classmates got murdered, and I jotted that down. Yep, I jotted that down. That's what I was supposed to read to you all, but I don't think I put the sticky note on that page. Yep. I was trying to find it. And I didn't always write in my journals. I took some gaps, like a long period, like months at a time. And I documented that too. Yep, I took months at a time to, not write in my, journal because life happens. But for the most part, I would journal. And this here is on May 1st, 2014. It says, wow, I finished school. It went by so fast. Tonight in class was a very special moment for me because I made it to the end. I finished what I started. I can't believe how much I have grown over the last 2 years. I went from being afraid of saying what I mean to meaning. No, no, it says I went afraid from being afraid of saying what I mean to saying what I mean. Listen, I went from being afraid. It's just to capture how much I was a people pleaser. That's why I come here and talk to you all and tell you all this is, I'm coming to you with the truth. This is how I used to be. It says, I'm let me read this part over. It says, I went from being afraid to saying what I mean to saying what I mean and more. My confidence level increased. I became aware of who I am and who I am becoming. I am stronger. I've learned to celebrate myself regardless of who's there or not. I stopped seeking approval of others to do the things that I want to do. I am bold. I am a better leader because of the graduate program. I've learned to stand up when necessary and be quiet when need be. Personal growth is definitely a takeaway from this program. If I if asked, would I do it again? Yes. And I continue on saying, I wouldn't change anything about my journey through the graduate program. I wish I knew what I know now because I wouldn't have allowed people to take advantage of me. But oh well, lesson learned. Now it's time to work on my calling, the promise that God has placed in my heart, my life in my heart. I know He has placed, I don't know what I know He has placed this dream in my heart that is soon to come to fruition because I can see it clearly. He has equipped me with all the tools to carry out his purpose for my life. It's my job to stay focused and do it. As part of my graduation gift to myself, I had an issue, I had a problem with this here. I had a problem. As part of my graduation gift to myself, I gave myself permission to celebrate me. I am going to the Bahamas. I am also giving myself a party. I had to tell myself, why wait for others to say, I am throwing you a party? I've decided to throw my own party. God has definitely been good to me and my family, especially during our struggles. I am a graduate. I had to set the bar for my kids. They have to get an education and a good one. I am trusting God that He will provide financially for my kids to go to college. I really believe in Jesus' name. Amen. Isn't that powerful? I just had to come share this with you all. I was led to come share this to encourage someone. I see double numbers here, 17 people watching and 17 likes. This has been a process. So you have to go back to your archives, especially for the writers, the journalers, the ones who journal. Go back into your old records. And for you all who do not journal, this should give you hope. This should increase your faith. This probably should give you the motivation to start journaling. I know a lot of people don't like journaling, but I journal how I talk. I don't try to be all intellectual. Whatever comes to my mind, that's how I journal. And that's how I talk to you all. That's why you all feel like you know me, because I just talk. I talk how I talk, you know. I don't try to be anyone else. I don't try to come even in my books. I was instructed to write how I talk. I was instructed to do that. Yep, to really write how I talk, because more people will be able to relate and they'll understand. Just simple talk, you know. But I hope that encouraged you all. If you all have any questions, I'm here to, answer any questions before I leave. I see Jacqueline said, yes, Cheryl, you don't have to call it journaling. If you just write, that's fine. That's fine. You don't have to call it journaling. Yep. As long as you're documenting, I call it document. I used to work in healthcare. We document everything. So if that's what you call it, that's fine. But as long as you're writing, your pen to paper, pencil to, pencil to paper, paper, that if that's what you do, guess what? That's a good thing. Um, yes, Keisha McNeil, that's another thing. Listen, I ordered minister. If you listen, you all listen. I'm gonna give you all this here. I get so excited. This message had me on fire yesterday. Minister Kevin L.A. Ewing, his latest message on faith. If you all have not listened, I listened to that thing 3 times yesterday. I listened to that thing 3 times. It was so powerful. Let me see. Let me see what that message was called. This man here, I ordered his book. I just wanted to shout. I was working out in the gym. I just wanted to shout. It's titled According to Your Faith. According to Your Faith. Let me see. I'll put it in here. At Pastor Kevin L.A. Ewing. And his message is according. This thing here had me. I was jumping off, doing all kind of jumping jacks. I'm putting it here. This thing, ooh, this man, he brought it. I mean, and this is what prompted me after listening to his message. This is when I went back to my archives. This is when I went back. Misha, during that time, I was married. During that time, I was married. I did have help at the time. Still is married, but yeah, I was married, and my kids were younger. Um, and then how the adult education was set up, I only had to go once a week, and that was on a Thursday. So on that Thursday, you know, thank God I had a flexible job. I was able to leave. My boss was real flexible. I was able to leave work, a little early to go get the kids, bring them home, have someone come, and sit with the kids till my husband got home. But yeah, it all worked out. Yeah, my manager was very lenient. Um, it just worked out, and I wanted to go, but when my kids were younger, because I felt like they really didn't need me as much, and I felt like if I went before they became teenagers, because when they become teenagers, you have to keep an eye on them. I had younger babies then, younger children. They were in elementary and middle. One was in middle. I think they was in elementary. One was going to middle, but I was graduated by that time. But it is a lot. And I was focused. The only thing I did at that time was take care of my family, go to work, and church. I had no social life. I sacrificed. And that's what people don't understand. During a certain season in your life, you will have to sacrifice. It's not going to be forever. And that's what I looked at. I'm like, this is not going to be forever. So if I go now, you know, I'll be done by the time they get to that age where they need me, and I need to keep an eye on them. Yep. It is a lot. And you're welcome, Jacqueline. Dolores, I put in a name. Yep, Pastor Kevin. Yep, is under Pastor Kevin L.A. Ewing. But his message, according to your faith, woo, when I tell you that message, I'm gonna listen to that thing again tonight. Because that's what I ask God to do. Help increase my faith. And that's what I do. I read scriptures on faith. I read stories on faith. That's why I like reading people. What is it called? They rags to riches story, because it takes a lot of faith. It takes a lot of faith to get past some of that stuff. But it wasn't easy. But I'm thank God I thank God I did it. But I was fighting in. I'm like, you know what? I mean, some of the same. I'm reading in my journal. I was going through some of the same foolishness back then. In my journals. I'm like, listen. I'm reading this. I'm like, the same foolishness was happening then in the journal. And I was encouraged to really finish school, because although it was God's plan for the process, but my grandmother always wanted to go to school, and she never got a chance to go. I'm trying to see, but it's other stuff in here. I may even turn this into a little. I may turn some of this stuff into an ebook. I know that's what I'll be working on. Um, Two are a lot of couple of ebooks, so you guys could look out for that. And they won't be anything expensive. It'll be a good, you would have to invest something, but it won't be anything crazy. Oh yeah, I had to sacrifice. I got so much. And I tell you, I got so many lessons, Lord. I'm just exploding. And see, This is why I think God called me online, because I needed to get this stuff out of me. I was exploding. And that's why some of you all are, and I said this in another video, some of you all are becoming kind of delusional. And this is not to laugh at you or anything, but the reason you're coming kind of delusional because you're not getting out what God put in you. You got books in you, you got sermons. Some of y'all got you're creative. You want to speak and speak up and tell the truth, but you're afraid of who you're going to lose. I had to sacrifice a lot. I'm still sacrificing, but I'm not going to give up on God and what He wants me to do. I'm not going to give up on that. I already made my stands. I took my stand, don't make my stands, I'm sold out for my purpose. What He want me to do, I am sold out. I can't go back now. I don't came too far. I'm 2 million people in all across the world. I can't quit now. Listen, look, I'm 2 million people in now on YouTube. I can't go back. Because I fulfill the purpose, continue to sacrifice, and just go roll with the punches. Listen, I got to roll with the punches now. Can't go back. Like they said, the pig gave it all up. I don't gave it all up. Look, like they say, the pig gave it all up. You know, they eat every parts of the pig. Pig ears, pig tails, everything. Poor little pig, little piglets. Don't gave it all up. I got to fulfill. I got to use my mouth and tell the truth. Shame the devil. I'm all in now. I can't do nothing. Right? Got to know, use discernment, when to say something, when not to say stuff. But that message from Minister Kevin L.A. Ewing, according to your faith, I think it was almost 2 hours or something. It was long. It was a long message, but I listened to that thing 3 times yesterday. 3 times. So you know I spent a lot of time studying that, listening. That message was powerful. And I ordered his book too. I forgot the name of that book. It should be coming tomorrow, my birthday. Let me see. It's something about prayer. But I ordered his book because it's all about educating ourselves and getting new knowledge. When things resonate with you, oh, prayers that work. Yeah, that's his book title. Yeah, I'm gonna read that book as soon as I get it. Yeah, prayers that work. But that's what I want to come share with you all. I hope you all enjoyed the message. If you don't have any more questions, I'm going to end the live. And I hope this, I was just looking in the chat. I hope this encouraged you all. Oh yeah, that's a course. Yeah. I'm trying to look. Okay, no, nothing in the chat. But I'm glad you all came out. Exactly, Cheryl. Yes. Look, even my friends used to call me a little old lady because I did pick up some of the little old lady mannerisms. They used to call me grandma. They even used to they also used to say I drove like a grandma. My kids still tell me I drive slow today. Listen, you look, Cheryl, you walk around smelling like Ben Gay, Trying to rub your knees down. You walking around with peppermints in your mouth. I keep me a peppermint, like a little old lady, little old lady, little church lady had a little peppermints. Oh, Cheryl, girl. Yeah, I pick little old lady mannerisms. Little grandma, I would say old lady, little grandma mannerisms. I picked them up. I really did. Yeah, my friends used to always say I act like an old lady. But they used to always come to me about stuff. I look like I'm the mama of the bunch. They always came to me asking me questions. Girl, like I'm grown. Like, look, I was asking me questions like I'm the adult. I'm like, we all the same age. But I was a little more mature than my friends. I was because I took on a lot more responsibilities, helping my grandmother out. But I see that as training. I didn't mind. I didn't mind because my grandmother was sweet. She was sweet. She took care of me. She loved me unconditionally. She really loved me. I felt the love. I didn't feel like I was being used or taken advantage of or anything like that. She really loved her Nikki Peaky. That's what she used to call me. Hello, Nikki Peaky. But good night, you all. Since it's always good talking to you all. Exactly. I was getting a lot of wisdom from her share. And that's why I tell people all the time, this is why you shouldn't, and this is the thing that's wrong with society and the world. I think we have made getting an education, we have put education on a pedestal as if having an education is next to being God. Sometimes I think getting like a degree or education, this what I feel. That's my opinion. I feel like you're eating off the tree of the knowledge of good and really the knowledge of good and evil. Because when people and I'm saying this because my grandmother didn't have an education. She only had a second grade education. She made up to the second grade. But the lady was so filled with wisdom, it trumped the education. And my point was people have made getting a degree and I'm not talking down on getting degrees. I'm not talking down on it. But sometimes when people get an education, there's a form of pride that comes with that. And we shouldn't have that form of pride, you know, so you can see people who are educated have an air, like an arrogance and a pride, um, a prideful way about them. And we shouldn't be that way because the most um the people who are the wisest don't have an education. Because when you get wisdom, your wisdom is going to trump knowledge. This is why all them billionaires and millionaires, that's why they dropped out. They dropped out of college. Your Bill Gates and your who else? What was the other man name? Bezos and all them. They dropped out because they realized once they got the wisdom that they didn't need an education to do what they want to do. They left. Exactly, Cheryl. Yep, wisdom is education of God. It surely is. But this world make us feel like when we get this worldly knowledge, we on the top. No, we don't want to get no. Mm-mm. That's okay to get it, but don't put it above wisdom, because wisdom comes from God. Don't put it above wisdom. I'd rather have wisdom over money. Because with wisdom, I can get money. I can get plenty of millions with the wisdom. But an educated person will choose the money over wisdom. And then when the money runs out, they don't have any wisdom to get themselves back to where they were. Give me the wisdom. And you know what? I looked up my name. Let me tell y'all. I had Googled my name one time. I thought it was so. Not Googled my name. I looked up the meaning of my name, Monique. Right? It was a while ago. Um, and it translated into advisor. It translated into counselor, advisor. What else? It translated into something to do with wisdom. I'm like, oh my goodness. I thought that was unique. But I'm gonna let you all go. I'm not gonna hold you up. You all be blessed. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, tomorrow's my birthday. Y'all can wish me happy birthday. I'll be out. I may come pop in. I'm not sure. I know I will post on the community tab. I'm going to have me a nice little massage, a good old massage, full body massage. I'm simple, but I love services. I love to have, you know, I love to be pampered. So, you all be blessed. And y'all, good night. Good night. And I may see y'all tomorrow. I'm not sure. I may not. I don't know. But I had to come deliver this message. So y'all be blessed, okay?